So, I had to take a shit this morning, and
man, we're getting right into it. Okay.
Listen, Matt, this is Rakush. We're at the mistake zone. Jaren's not here. What do we know about an episode without Jaren? There's got to be poop talk.
So yeah, hey, might as well get right into it.
Might as well get right into it. Exactly. So I wanted to take a poop, right? And for some reason, like, there's been like these 24/7 Yu-Gi-Oh streams that are running all at once as well. And so before I went to the bathroom, I basically in my head when it's time to poo 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 poo, and yeah.
Okay. Oh man.
Welcome to the mistake zone.
Yo, Rakush, how's your concussion doing? Is it okay?
How's my what?
Your slight towel concussion from when you got beat up by your washroom.
Man, okay. So for those who don't know, basically, there was one day where I've installed like this new towel rack after the whole ordeal of me getting trapped in the bathroom and not wanting to hang anything on doors. It's a little bit dicey that like there's not a lot of space. That like you could very easily walk into it and hit your head on it. I've been fairly okay with it, but then I was cleaning up when like I was actually sweeping and I was looking down, wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, hit my head on it, and it's okay now. But yeah, there was definitely like a couple of days where I was like, "Ooh, this area specifically feels very sore on my head," and I don't know if that was more than that, but it's gone now, or maybe it's not because I'm talking about pooing. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh terms.
That's honestly that is about par for the course for the Rakush I've known for the past, what is it? At least 13 years.
No, you know me for way more than 13 years.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
To be fair,
we went to high school together.
No. Okay, sorry. I've known of you for longer than 13 years, but I wouldn't say I've known you for
You've
13
known
years,
me since like right after high school graduation, I would say. It's been half our lives. And half our lives there's not 13. We're not 26 years old. We're old farts, man.
Oh, man. I guess, okay, you know what? I guess really I was counting when I did that. We did the 10-year Saturday morning arcade anniversary. And then I tried to add on how much time I thought passed since then. And I think I did some bad math.
I think also, like, I opened up Discord earlier this week, and it said it was like our 4-year friend-iversary, and I'm like, oh man, I've only known this guy for like 4 years. It's
4 years. We only met post-COVID.
Yeah, post-COVID. Has it been 4 years post-COVID?
Well, it's 2026 now, and 2020 was the big time when COVID happened. Oh, I guess like it depends on what you consider post-COVID, I guess.
Also, like, did I just not have you on Discord before that, or was it just like I didn't have you as a friend? I can't remember.
I think, yeah, that's kind of the weird thing. You can, like, have DMs with people and not be friends with them, depending on your settings. Like, I don't think I'm... I was going to say I don't think I'm friends with Jaren on Discord, but I am friends with Jen on Discord. I'm not friends with Mark on Discord. I'm not friends with Julian on Discord.
What do you got against them?
None. I just don't add people on Discord.
Are you just saying, like, they're not on the mistake zone enough? You just want them on here a lot more often?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
If you guys want to level up your friendship, be on the mistake
zone. Oh wait,
zone.
no, sorry, I'm dumb. Never mind. I am friends with them. I was just looking at the list of online friends. Oh man, use technology.
False accusations. But Matt, you're not the only one with false accusations because like, look, Jaren's not here this week. We'll get into that in a second. There's been a lot of. There's been a lot of, just sabotage happening in our Mistake Zone Fantasy Critic, and I feel like I owe Jaren an apology because I feel like I've been saying the sabotage has been entirely on Jaren's end. But, something's happened this week in the Mistake Zone, specifically with... the best publisher in the league right now, Culinary Ass Wars, statistically the best one. Mixtape released. And Matt, I just want to put this out there. There's 3 90+ ratings on Open Critic this year. Culinary Ass Wars is home to 2 of those. Pokemon Pokopia and now Mixtape at 92.
What's the other 90?
Yeah, that one was actually like a random one. It was Lost and Found Company.
Who got Lost and Found Company? What?
No, like this is overall on like Open Critic. It's not.
Oh,
in the
sorry. I
actual
thought you
league.
meant within our. I thought you meant within our thing. Okay.
No. That actually means I only have the 290s. So yeah, thank you.
Okay.
You know, we are the premier home of video games, and sometimes, you know, the competition gets the best of us, right? And we put out false accusations. I want to apologize to Jaren for that. You know, turns out that he doesn't have as much pull with like sabotaging these game scores. You know, he tried to get mixtape to Julian's league. You know, every couple of weeks he'd be like, "I'm surprised Julian doesn't have it. I'm surprised Julian doesn't have it." But that's neither here nor there, guys. That's neither here nor there. Jaren, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for assuming that you had this much pull.
Well,
I'm an asshole. I'm sorry, Jared. I love you. No, yeah. Hey, listen. Mixtape came out this week. I know that is something that we're all kind of intrigued by, mainly because I would say the price point is very low, and I am absolutely looking forward to playing this one.
Yeah.
Little tidbit on that: the only reason I haven't actually played this is because my PS5 controller is dead, Matt, and or it keeps drifting.
I'm really curious because I'm pretty sure that we all are going to be playing it or have already played it so far, and then we're just going to be talking about mixtape next week. And yes. I'm really curious to see what makes it a 92, because I never would have expected a game like this to be a 92, or at least just from like what I was seeing in the trailers.
I think that's fair,
and I really want to go into like a deeper conversation next week about game scoring.
Sure. One thing I will say is worth pointing out for this one here. As of right now, so we're recording on May 10th. It's got 15 perfect scores. And it's gotten 97% critics recommended. 92 is the top critic average. Lowest score is like a 6 out of 10 from... And I've checked out like a bunch of other reviews from this person. I think it's more like a preferential thing that, like, you know, it's just there's certain game styles that they prefer more than what mixtape might be. But yeah, I'm curious. I think we'll save a lot of this conversation for next week in and of itself, but definitely worth mentioning, like, you know, just kind of jokes about the fantasy critic stuff aside, like, this is one of the highest rated games of the year. These numbers do tend to like average out quite a bit. Like, I know Pocopia started at like 94 or as well, or something like, or 87, I think is what it started at. Went up to 92, 94, then it's like kind of hovering around 90. Look, like, that's still a really amazing score, right? So like, and it's a pretty short experience. It seems like it is $26 right now, Canadian. So that seems like it might be like 19 US. I think at that price point, it might be worth something to keep an eye out on. I don't know if it's like, without playing it, I can't really say if it's worth checking out or not. But yeah, hey, like, pretty well rated here. So we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. But Matt, there's actually a really funny moment I had this week, kind of listening to last week's episode, where you guys were talking about sort of like who picked up Dench Attack and Starfox, and I listened to it after the Nintendo Direct happened, but it just kind of like timed out in a way where it's like, oh, Rakush has insider information. I don't, but it was just kind of funny, and I think we could like talk about Starfox a little bit here. There was like a Nintendo Direct. Was it only Starfox for that Nintendo Direct, or was there other stuff?
It was, as far as I know, only Starfox. You can see mine and Jared's full reactions to this on the Mistakes on YouTube channel, by the way.
Okay, I was curious about that because as that was happening, I did notice that you and Jared were on a Discord, so I was like, okay, like, kind of curious what happened there.
Me and Jared messaged me about it like 5 minutes before we started. It's like, did you know this direct was happening? I was like, no. And you're like, oh, do you want to do a reaction to this? And we barely started in time to react to it.
Yeah, no, like, when I picked this up, I didn't realize the direct was going to be happening like a week from then, sort of thing. So like, yeah, like, pretty good timing on this. It looks kind of interesting.
Okay, so when me and Jaren were talking at the start, we had talked over the part, or we were talking to each other about something, and we had missed that it was a Starfox 64 remake.
Okay.
So we didn't realize it until the middle, and it was like a weird experience, kind of seeing and being like, wait, is this new or is this like, are they world 1-1ing it in like a new
Right.
Mario game? And I don't know. It was. I think the thing that for me is that the whole time I was expecting something new to show up, but it was just Star Fox 64 the whole time. So I was like on like I was like hyping myself up unnecessarily, I guess.
Now, the question I have about a Star Fox, right, is if the entire game, it's a remake. It's not just like a remaster or anything like that, because there is a lot of talk about, for example, how the controls work. You can use your Switch controller as a mouse for this one, which honestly,
that is very interesting.
Actually, sounds really cool. Yeah. Especially for like a game that is so targeting heavy, right? Like that's exclusively the gameplay almost. So like, there's some really interesting stuff happening with that. So I think that's cool. They're working in this whole sort of like VTuber mechanic with like how their faces and shit move. So
that
like,
thing is so funny. Oh man.
Yeah. Which also, let's put in that one because I want to talk about the visuals more in a second as well, right? But like,
of course.
I think it's different enough from the original game, at least from what I've seen so far. So I guess my question that I would ask you, right, Matt, is like, is the disappointment that it's not like a new story, or is it even disappointment, or is it more just sort of like a whelming feeling, like a very neutral feeling to it?
It was, I guess, like overall, it was just a very neutral feeling to it. Like, I thought, oh, there's gonna be a new Star Fox game. I was mostly interested in seeing new mechanics on how they were going to, remix the Star Fox formula.
Sure,
but you can't really do, I guess, like that much when you're in like remake territory.
I guess so. Yeah, I do. Was there a price announced for this at all, or is that something that's pending?
Yeah, Jared had actually sent it to me after we recorded, which was basically that I was actually surprised with this, that in Japan, the physical version and the digital version are going to be slightly different prices. The Japan prices for this are going to be $54.80 digital and $64.80 physical, which is going to be what? That's about like $50 Canadian, $60 Canadian. So when you go to US, that's just probably like $10 lower to like 40 digital, 50 USD physical.
I gotta assume it's gonna end up being 60 and 70 on Canadian, based on
really?
like what I'm hearing.
60, 70? Okay.
I mean, look, I'd be pleasantly surprised if it's 50 and 60, but
actually, yeah, I guess like this is closer to like, if you were to convert it, like, I guess like more accurately, it would be closer to $55 Canadian. So it probably will be 60 Canadian. You're right.
Yeah, like that's kind of like my gut feeling with something like this, right? Now, I do think that a lot of the game's success financially and critically, I think I don't know about critically actually, let me take that one back. But financially, I think will hinge on sort of like asking people to pay 60 or $70 for this game, especially if it doesn't really go all into the remake territory, right? So curious to see how this game is received. I think Nintendo is, I feel like they're doing some interesting stuff. Like they're taking a lot of chances with the Switch too. Like I wouldn't necessarily say any of the games that have come out for the Switch 2 so far have been like safe releases. So that's kind of like a really interesting place that they're in right now, right? So like for all the criticism about like the pricing and stuff like that, they're trying things. They are playing it relatively safe with making this a remake, of course. So like,
yes.
I think like that's a contradictory part of this. But the fact that like we even have like, a full-blown remake for Star Fox coming out, I think is quite a bit of a chance that they're taking. So yeah, let's see what comes out of it. That is most of Star Fox. The last thing I wanted to talk about there was the aesthetics, because art direction, aesthetics, everything visual, right? Because Matt, they've got these guys looking hyper realistic.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
What are your
Before we get
thoughts
into
on
like
that?
the models of
Okay.
them, okay, I just do want to say I like all the other stuff. I think the environment and like the robots and like the space, everything there looks cool. But the people, or not the people, the animal people themselves, they, I think like 3/4 of the ones that they showed look really weird.
So this is where
Mhm.
like the VTuber stuff I think comes into play, and I think for anybody that is curious about the art style and just kind of wants to, this is all speculation at this point, like Nintendo's not said anything, but
Uh-huh.
Jeff Grubb from the Giant Bomb Game Minute that he does every morning, like kind of speculated a little bit that it probably has to do with the fact that there is this VTube engine or this mechanic that's in there right now that
Well,
like kind of makes their faces move according to like your
but
face.
that
And in
doesn't
order to,
matter, I think.
I
Because,
think
like,
give that video a watch, because I think the explanation is kind of a little bit smart, because if you're going in that route and their mouths are moving like a specific way and things like that based on what you're saying, it has to map according to like a human face a little bit more. So I think that's where a little bit of the realism comes into play.
no, but you can
Again,
do that just as
speculation.
well with, like, a more cartoony one. Like, I think
Eh.
something I agree with that Jaren said during that react is that it is very jarring because at the start of that direct, they had shown, the Starfox clip from Super Mario Galaxy, right? And to go from that fox to the fox that they gave, I think like adds to the jarringness. I think maybe if they didn't show that clip at all and I didn't have like a fresh idea of what movie Star Fox looked like in my head, it wouldn't have been as big of a reaction from like me or like other people, I think.
So
But
just to kind of contradict that a little bit, right? Because I watched the trailer first and then realized there was a direct, so I didn't actually see
I see.
any of that stuff. I still found it
Okay.
jarring. So like I
Okay,
get
okay.
what you're saying about like, in your experience that probably sort of painted a different picture, right? But
Mhm.
even just kind of seeing like the new Star Fox aesthetics like without cross-referencing like, a Star like Mario Galaxy movie or like the anime stuff, it still looks like a little bit bizarre,
Okay.
but
Okay.
like I think it looks okay. As in sort of like if that's the direction they're going in, I think they're at least handling the direction well, even if I don't necessarily like the direction.
Yeah,
That
on a
makes
technical
sense.
level, it's I think like very well done.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
to kind of again just sort of like talk about that whole sort of like VTuber part that you're talking about, right? Like I think again, this is all speculation. Do we know exactly that's the reason? No, right? Like to me that just seems like a very rational explanation of what's happening here.
Mm.
VTubers in general use very heavy technology to process like, just their avatar and things like that. That is my understanding of it. There are PNG tubers or like lo-fi tubers in that sense, is my understanding that like you can do those kind of characters a little bit differently.
Mhm.
I do think that the level of tech that is in a Switch 2 plus like combined with sort of like the processing power that's likely going to be required to like have to do anything more than what they're currently doing might make it a little bit limited there. So let's see. Again, I would still say if you want to kind of just like watch the Jeff Grubb clip, I think that's an explanation that does a better job at explaining it than I do. All of it at the end of the day is pure speculation, but also I'm not sure we're ever going to hear why this was done the way it was done, because it's Nintendo and Nintendo doesn't say shit. I think that's Star Fox. Anything else you wanted to say about that one, Matt?
Oh, you know what? I want to get you. What do you think about Slippy? Because I think that one was the one that me and Jaren had the biggest reaction to.
I feel like I had kind of like an equal reaction to all of them.
Okay.
I don't think. Well, maybe like Falco's hair looked a little bit sort of like mohawky, but like not thick enough. I think like maybe that one was a little bit weird, but like I think it's like intentionally weird in a way where I'm sort of like, again, if that's how they want to proceed with this, then sure, right? Like they're executing it well. I'll say that. It might not be the decision I would have made.
Okay.
I say all that, and I still have Starfox on my fantasy critics, so it's
I mean, I don't think it's gonna do poorly on there. I think it'll do fine.
It's interesting. Like, it's got a projected 6 points, which typically means that it's averaging to 76. I think that's a pretty decent score, but yeah, we'll see what comes out of that. But Matt, that wasn't the only game that got a reveal or a trailer this week. There was another game. Another one that I picked up this week, actually, is Stranger Than Heaven. And I kind of want to spend a little bit of time with just this trailer itself, right? Because
there was a lot going on. Like, it's very very diminutive to call it just a trailer.
Yeah, it feels like a full-on story trailer. And the thing is, like, when I watched the trailer, I sent you guys a message in the Discord talking about how this is probably one of the best trailers I've personally seen since The Phantom Pain. And I think that is very high praise for me personally, because Phantom Pain to me is probably one of the best collection of trailers that I've ever watched. Like, to the point where after I watched the Stranger Than Heaven trailer, I went to watch the Metal Gear Solid 5 trailers, and I'm now watching a 6-hour-long video on the entire MGS lore in chronological order. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. And the thing is, Stranger Than Heaven has a 5.5 minute long trailer that just released. And I know the big talking point for this one is going to be Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is in this game, including, like, other I would say pretty popular, like, actors, characters, historical characters and stuff as well. They have one character where they're using the likeness, but it's going to be voiced by somebody else, as the person's been dead since 2014. They have Otto, who I believe Jaren's talked about Otto before on this show, but Otto also has done the music for One Piece film Red as Uta. So, like, there's a lot of cool happening in this trailer, right? Like, the cool factor is, to me, like, at a very absolute high end on this one. I think you can call this like a story reveal trailer, and it's a pretty significant one, because within, like, the first 30 seconds, the name drop is that they're going to form the Tojo clan. Now, anyone that has played the other Ryuga Gotoku game, Yakuza, you know why that's important. Even, like, the mention of Sotenbori in the trailer. Essentially, Stranger Than Heaven currently is, for all intents and purposes, an origin prequel story to the entire Yakuza franchise. I know people are thinking, but hey, Yakuza 0 exists. That's more like the character origins, and this is more of, like, the actual family origins, I would say. And there's a lot happening in this trailer from a story perspective. Like, it's talking about, like, 5 different generations that it's going to be going through.
Yeah, that was, like, really surprising to hear.
Yeah.
At least to me. Yeah.
I think I was surprised as well, because typically you don't get, like, more than, say, like, 2 or 3 different zones in a Yakuza game. So I think I'm a little bit pleasantly surprised that they're talking about, like, it's going to be 5 different generations. Might be 5 different areas as well, from the sounds of it, or
from
least
what
4.
From what I heard, like, it's not even about the areas that surprises me. It's just that, like, it's in, like, the kind of, like, long reveal trailer, that, like, half-hour one that Xbox put out when they were talking about it. I can't remember if this was in the trailer itself, but they did mention, like, the story of this game will take place over, like, 50 years or something.
Yes.
And that seems wild to me when I, like, think about this type of game, because in my head, I know it's not exactly, but, like, it has, I guess, like, the Yakuza series has always been, like, it's GTA adjacent in its style, but, like, like it's not exactly like GTA, but, like, it did get a lot of it's Japanese Grand Theft Auto. But
yeah, I was going to go on a tangent about that, but thank you for correcting that.
I guess, like, the thing that, like, I'm like more like about is that, like, when you kind of go between when you're looking at like a 50-year storyline, you inherently do like you were saying, like you are going to end up being in different areas. And I'm wondering how you handle that from like a gameplay style, because like maybe I just like have a bad perception of how like not Rakush, how Yakuza is like its story is told, but like for the most part, like in Yakuza is sort of like an quote unquote like open world game, right? Like you are able to access all the areas that you would have accessed throughout that game all the time, right?
It's a little bit iffy. So if I were to describe, and this is where sort of like the GTA comparisons, like I get it, but they fall a little bit flat for me after having played at least like, quite a few Yakuza games at this point, is that it is a fairly small map. There's a lot happening in this small map. But like it is small. And in that sense, like I'm a little bit hesitant to call it like an open world game as much as it's sort of like zones. Right? I think that's kind of where, like, for me, it's important to say, like, I don't know if it's necessarily something you treat as an open world game. More like, I think I would treat it more like an RPG where, like, you have these hub towns, but the entire stories just happen within the hub towns with a few sort of, like, set pieces that happen outside of it.
Yeah, I guess, like, that's more, yeah, okay, I guess that's also, like, yeah, what I also thought as well. I guess like, the thing that really, like, jars me is, like, the fact that it isn't gonna cover 50 years, and I'm wondering how they're going to be like, oh, you are at like X point in the game and you want to go back to an earlier area that is like further back in time.
Yeah
And I'm wondering how that is going to be handled the most.
Yeah, I think you and I are thinking about the same thing with this, which is like if you're thinking from a backtracking or completionist standpoint, right? Like how many point of no returns are there in this story? And I think like that is going to be really interesting to kind of see, because it does clearly seem like some shit goes down halfway through the story, right? Like that's what the trailer is very obviously telling us, is like there's going to be some like, some serious breaking points or whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm kind of curious how the side quests are done for a game like this, considering it is harkening back to the Yakuza games as much as it does from a canonical standpoint. I would hope that there's side quests that are kind of similar as well. But like, yeah, I'm curious, right? Like, how does that kind of stuff work? More to come, more to follow. I am really curious about this one. I have picked this one up. Probably spent like a lot more on this than I probably should have, but yeah. It is currently marked as, in the trailer, coming out this winter. I'm taking that as like winter 2026, but then it's possible that it's in like early 2027, so there's no actual date yet. But yeah, I think part of that might have to do with the fact that GTA 6 has the release date that is November 19th or something like that. So yeah, Matt, like that's most of sort of like, how the story stuff is going to impact the gameplay and things like that. Just kind of also make note of like what the 5 eras are going to be and kind of like the timelines that we're going to be like looking at. There is 1915 in Fukuoka, which seems like it's going to be like a very heavily industrial sort of thing. There's 1929 in Hiroshima. There's 1943 in Osaka, and I'm curious about how they're going to handle that one, right? Because that falls right smack dab in the middle of World War II. You have Shizuoka in 1951, and you have Shinjuku, Tokyo in 1965. So there's also mention of Sotenbori as well, so I'm kind of curious sort of like where they go with this story, because yeah, these are quite different places that yeah, should be fun to kind of see more about this.
Yeah, I didn't realize that like all the timelines were specifically tied to like one place. I thought there was going to be overlapping. So maybe it is going to be easier to be like, okay, now you're just going to like, time travel back to this time or whatnot.
But even then, right? Like if you are fast traveling to say like a different region, you're traveling back in time. are you doing something of consequence that like is gonna make the storytelling a little bit weaker? So that's where I'm curious about this stuff, because typically with something like this, you do set it up as a point of no return, where like you don't just go back like 20 years and
I think you can hand wave it a little easier through, like, if you do your storytelling set up like, oh, this is my memoirs. It's like, oh, what happened at this time? What happened at that time?
Sure.
Type thing. But, like, yeah, I guess it really does depend on how they're going to structure it.
Yeah. I am intrigued enough, I think, is probably sort of like where I'm at with this one. But, yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, just a last note about this game is the cast, right? Like, there is Yu Shirota, Dean Fujioka. We talked about Snoop Dogg. We talked about Otto. There's Cordell Brodus. There is Satoshi Fujihara. Tori Kelly's in it, for those familiar with her. And there's a few other characters that I did see in the trailer that are, like, famous Yakuza story actors. So, like, they're also in this one as well. Like, it's a pretty solid cast. Like, it's pretty awesome characters. I want to see more of it. I want to see how the story plays out and stuff as well. What is going to make it a little bit weird is that some of the mocap actors, if this is canonical with Yakuza, which it sounds like it is, they already play characters in the Yakuza franchise, even in the remakes. So I think like that's going to get a little bit confusing, but I think that's, to kind of steal your line, you're going to have to hand wave that away a little bit. So But I'm excited for this one, Matt. Like, I don't know if the trailer did enough for you to kind of like, have you hyped up or whatever. I think it is exactly the kind of trailer for me that like does the trick. Like, even if like the game ends up being sort of like I think I'll still be like, hey man, that trailer, that was awesome.
Like, I think for me this is enough to make me want to play it, because I think the thing that always stopped me from playing Yakuza is the Yakuza, I guess, like, legacy-ness of it.
Sure.
Where it's like, oh, is this like the jumping in point or not? But if they're gonna have Strangers in Heaven kind of be unrelated, for the most part, I guess, like, unrelated to that storyline, maybe this is like the place to go in.
Yeah, and I think that even if it ends up tying into Yakuza, it is an origin story, right? So like, if they do, like, if an origin story ends up being confusing, it is going to be an inherent failure. So like, I think that, well, I'm hopeful that like the studio understands that, and like, things are looking okay there. I'm also hopeful that like the gameplay is actually going to be fun, because for all this talk about like how cool the trailer is, at the end of the day, the game's got to be fun, right? And I know that their latest release was the Yakuza 3 remake. Hasn't gone over well at all, so yeah. Tepid, but still excited. The trailer did the job. But Matt, I think we could honestly just keep things moving from here. We did mention mixtape, and we're going to talk about it next week. I think one of the things I wanted to talk with you about is, and it's kind of tied to one of the things you wanted to talk about as well, but just like our semi-regular things are too damn expensive segment.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to, before we jump into sort of like the Switch stuff that you wanted to talk about, the reason I haven't played mixtape yet is because I mentioned my PS5 controller is essentially dying, like it's drifting. And so I've kind of been looking at like, okay, how do you fix this? How much did like a new controller cost? And, what options I have, basically, right? A new controller nowadays is $100 plus tax for a first-party PlayStation 5 controller, which I think your reaction is accurate in this day and age.
That's about the same as like a new Joy-Con set as well, I think.
I think my challenge with something like this is someone that's been out of the loop. So I don't know if it's necessarily like an indictment of the industry as much as it's just sort of like, I haven't had to look at prices for accessories for a very long time. And I think like what's bothering me is the last time I had to look at the cost of a controller, it was around $70. Like the last new controller I'd bought that wasn't just part of like a console bundle was the current Xbox controller that I use for PC gaming, and that was like pre-pandemic. Just so you
That's
understand how long it's been. Yeah, a different life. Yeah, it's everything was different, but
also it's a different tech too.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I am still from a generation, and I will be from the generation always, of course, that like technology got cheaper, right? Now the PS5 has been out for long enough that to me, like from an archaic standpoint, the technology should have gotten cheaper. I'm from that generation. So like it's difficult for me to still accept this world that we're in where things have been out for 3 years and only getting more and more expensive because the cost of making things has not been getting cheaper. And that's what I still struggle with, right? And it's also why sort of like my Nintendo Switch, the battery is essentially dead. Unless it's docked, I cannot play the Switch. So, like, I haven't fixed that one. If I go to fix that one, or replace that one, sorry, it's going to cost me a lot of money, right? If I go to fix it, it'll be a lot cheaper. And I think, like, I'm a little bit caught off guard on those things recently because I never considered myself as someone that would be repairing technology. I would probably be, like, trading it in, selling it to somebody that has the time to repair it, things like that. And I just go and buy like the newer model of something, right? And with both like the Switch and the PS5, the controller, I have decided to look at repair options. So now with the PS5 controller, I'm actually getting the joysticks replaced entirely with the Hall Effect ones because those essentially solve the drifting issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, it still costs $90. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I put the money towards fixing a current controller where the drifting issue will be solved forever? Or do I get a new controller where the issue could come up again? And I decided to go with the repair route. It's still like $15 cheaper. And it seems to be a more permanent solution to the current issue at play here as well. But I guess like what I wanted to ask you about these kind of situations as well, right, Matt, is when you've come up to non-PC related issues like this, how do you typically proceed with like, you know, whether replacing or fixing it? Like, how do you typically proceed with something like that?
I mean, I feel like I accumulated enough tech garbage that I've gotten to the point where or sorry, not tech garbage, tech hobbies that I've accumulated enough tools that I can try doing DIY repairs. So like, you know, if I do have problems, like I have had problems with controllers, I have you know, opened them up. I have kind of like, you know, done the stuff where like, hey, okay, I'm gonna like resolder something. I'm going to you know, like just like do some like general cleanup inside of here or like reset some stuff. Like I'm lucky enough that I can go the DIY route and like, you know, try to fix it. Man,
what's the
Rakush?
What's the extent of like the repairs that you do? Like, would you say like replacing joysticks entirely is like something you would try out yourself?
I think I would try it out myself, but like it would need to be something that I can break.
Right.
You know, like I don't know. I very much like, you know, put this on the Xbox 360's Red Ring and, you know, trying to deal with that as a kid. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to put this Xbox in the oven for a bit and let everything resolder. And that never really worked. But,
was that a solution?
Yeah, because like the issue was that like the solder points on like the 360 were kind of like fucked up.
Oh fuck.
So you could just hope that like that fixed it for you, but I think unless you were like actually resoldering it yourself, you wouldn't really have a consistent fix to it.
Right. Man, that is insane. It's like I thought I'd heard of all of the fixes and stuff. I didn't realize putting it in the oven was one of them. Man,
it's very important that you take out the like the memory, like not the memory, yeah, like the core of itself. You're taking off all the plastic. You're not just like throwing that thing into the oven. Yeah.
Okay. And also, please don't try this at home based on anything we're talking about here. I would say speak to a professional about this, and you're not recommending any of this stuff.
Yes.
I kind of get what you mean about like you should be able to break it, because like if you break your own thing, then like whatever, right? Like it was already broken.
Like I think I could maybe do the replacement on your controller, but I don't want to break your controller in the process of like learning it.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm like a little bit tempted to try replacing the Switch battery myself, because I've seen that like the battery replacement part costs like $50 to $75 or something like that. So like maybe that's something I might try out, but ultimately like I have this trip coming up, right, to Japan, so like that's where I'm sort of like thinking about a little bit more like the Switch and like wanting that to be perfectly functional for the trip and stuff, so that I can play it on the flight or whatever, right? Like I have the 3DS, but like I do also want to carry the Switch with me. So like that's where a lot of my trip is still like 4 or 5 months away, but like I'm already thinking about that, where I'm like, do I want to get that fixed? Like, it's stuff like that right now. And I know like Matt, I'd asked you earlier this week about the AYN Thor stuff, and I know you own one. I know you've mentioned it on this podcast before as well. That's also something I'm starting to look into, but again, it's like that technology is too damn expensive kind of space right now, where I don't know if I really want to spend that much money on something like that. But
I mean, I think also like the Thor stuff is in kind of like limbo right now in terms of like trying to get it, because like the parts are all in a weird situation.
So my understanding is everything is back order. So like you can add yourself to the wait list, and then it's just like you get it when you get it kind of thing, which hey, good for them. I hope that they find like good success. It feels a little bit like what like the OnePlus situation was in the early 2010s, where the phone was kind of still getting a little bit popular and like poppin' because it was the affordable option, and then now it's no longer the affordable option. But man, Matt, the more I think about the early 2010s, the more I actually kind of think that was actually a really fun like 3 to 4 years that we had.
It was a good time.
It was a good time. I think it's like an underrated time. Like I think about the 90s as being super nostalgic, but honestly, early 2010s, pretty dang good.
Basically once you go 2019 back, like it's all pretty good.
Oh no, 2015 back for me.
Okay.
I think 2015 onwards, you know what? It might coincide with the fact that I've basically been working full-time since 2015, 2016. Also, everything else that's happened in the world. But, yeah. 2015
You've lost the joy of the child, is what you're saying.
Lost the joy, yeah.
Okay.
Although I might have lost the joy in the early 2010s when I was working part-time jobs with no future. But that's a different conversation. This is our adventures in repairing shit. I am hoping I get the controller back soon, because I really want to play the game on PS5. Because that's what's connected to the TV. That's the main reason. But I guess I'll talk more about sort of like the joystick and the controller in the next week or so. But
I mean, I guess if we're talking about price, are you interested in the Steam controller at all, or no?
I mean, I haven't looked into it too much, because I think part of it is when I hear Steam controller, I'm like, oh, it's a PC controller. And if it's just a PC controller, I'm not really playing many games on the PC. Like the last one I played was Blueprints, because that was like Game Pass. So yeah, like I'm not sure. I don't think I would. But that's something you did try to get this week, right, Matt?
Yes. I did try to get it when it initially came out, and that thing sold out in about like 30 minutes. And honestly, the site was getting hammered really, really, really hard. So unfortunately I wasn't able to get it there, but both me and Julia were able to do the very anticlimactic get on the registration list.
Right.
Which happened, I think, about like, I want to say like 5 or so days later.
Okay.
Where you can just like open the Steam controller page, and now you can just like, there's a button that says, hey, reserve one for me, and you just basically get put in a queue. and they'll send it to you when they send it to you. They'll give you an email, and then in that email you have like 72 hours to like pay for the Steam controller, and then it'll be sent. And
so, how much is this controller again?
150 Canadian.
Oof,
so 100 US.
Not a chance. You're sorry. Even if it could play on the PS5, not a chance of spending 150 on that. No. Any updates on the Steam box?
I mean, there are a whole bunch of like kind of just like rumors about, oh hey, like Valve just received a shipment of like X amount of kilograms, and if you divide the weight of that up by how much the Steam controller weighs and how much we expect the Steam machine to weigh, it's like, oh, they have like like 50k units available right now, and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of just like weird speculation. There's nothing hard confirmed to my knowledge.
I equal parts love and hate the speculation being like they got X amount of this material.
I love wild speculation like that. It's the best.
Yeah, but I also don't like that we're in a space where wild speculation like that is necessary, I guess.
Sorry. Before we go too far away, no, Rakush, I want to say in wild speculation mode, what do you think about FromSoft potentially releasing 2 games around the GTA release?
What games are they talking about?
There's like some like, okay, the game that would come after, to my knowledge, is just like some like standard FromSoft game, but then the one that they want to release before is like Mermaid Dark Souls or something. What do you think about this? It's Mermaid Pirate Dark Souls.
I mean, good luck. If GTA is actually coming out at that point, good luck.
Mermaid Pirate Dark Souls sounds crazy.
Yeah. Do you play as a mermaid?
I don't know. I would assume you play as a pirate that is now dealing with mermaids, but
that would be interesting. I don't know. I feel like there's not enough pirate games out there. I'm always open to more pirate games, but like the decision to release that like right before GTA, ooh, good luck. Good luck, man. But Matt, I know we kind of hinted at this a little bit as well. Wanted to ask you about the Switch 2 updates that are going on with the price increases there. I know that's something we've joked a little bit about, and like ultimately you did end up buying a Switch 2, but what's the update in that space lately?
Yeah, so about 2 days ago from when we were recording this, Nintendo put out a official, I guess, like on the Nintendo website saying, hey, we are going to be increasing the price of the Switch 2, and to my surprise, actually, the price of the Switch 1, which is a wild ad. But I think the Switch 1 price increases are only in Japan.
Okay, I didn't even realize the Switch 1 had increased in price when I was like giving my spiel earlier.
But yeah, like the Switch 2 price increases in Japan are basically like, hey, the Switch 2 is going up by 10,000 yen, which is like the equivalent of like close to $100.
Yeah.
And that seems to be like the same across like all the original like Switch 1 models as well.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on like the kind of North American side for us, like it's going up by what, like 50 USD, 50 CAD, which is, it's nice that they didn't like, increase it by like, I guess the 70, that is the actual equivalent of that price, and then it's going up by 30 euros in Europe. And they are also going to be, I was a little bit confused about this part. They're increasing the price of like Nintendo Switch Online, but it only listed the Japan prices. So I'm not sure if it's also increasing in like, North America. And they are also increasing the price of the Hanafuda cards in Japan. So
the Hanafuda cards. What? They're still selling those?
Yes, they are going up to open price, which I guess means we'll figure it out later. But
oh my god. Okay.
I don't know. That's
market price. That's basically what we're going to.
We're going with market value.
Oh god. That sucks.
And I'm surprised that the prices in I guess I'm not surprised, but like I figure the price that we had now was always more of a temporary increased price, because I'm pretty sure around the time that they talked about the prices when they were releasing it in North America, this was in like prime Trump tariff era, and they had increased the price when they were considering like what wild stuff is happening with tariffs at that moment. But yeah,
I will admit I'm not fully in the loop on what's happening with the tariffs themselves right now, but I don't think they necessarily disappeared, right? Like I think it's just sort of other shit has been happening. Okay. Have they been waived? Mm-hmm. I think this is important enough that we should probably fact check this.
Yeah, you know what? Let's not. Yeah.
So let me look this up.
Okay, let's just let's just totally just steer away from that topic, because we demos, and also we're not American. But I'm still bummed that American tariffs messed with the Canadian prices.
That is the thing, right? Like even though like the tariffs don't impact us directly, it impacts sort of how businesses are dealing with us, right? Because the places where these things are shipped into, ultimately for North America, all kind of line up to be the same spot. So for what it's worth, the price is increasing on September 1st. So like if you basically find a Switch 2 between now and September 1st, like hey, that's 3 to 4 months more, right? So like go ahead. But it does seem that
September 1st in outside of Japan.
In Canada.
Yes.
Yeah. In Japan it's effective May 25th, so you got 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. And the explanation given is in light of changes in market conditions and after considering the global business outlook. So to me, that does seem to be tied a little bit to that. And I'm reading this article off of cbc.ca. Blurb written here is company president Shintaro Furukawa said higher component costs along with factors including exchange rates were reflected in Nintendo's decision. All major Japanese exporters are having to cope with U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff hikes and other higher costs that have been worsened by the war in Iran. So, I guess, in fact, what's actually happening now is that beyond just the tariffs, it's also the shipping costs because of everything that's happening in the Middle East as well. And also the higher component costs because of the shortages that we're facing. It's a hat trick of issues that are causing trouble all across the board right now. So, yeah. Yep. It sucks, man. It does. I don't know if there's any new ground for you and I to cover from our, just opinion point of view. We talked about this months ago. Funny enough, we were talking about the Switch box, or the Steam box and the Steam controller then talking about the Switch that as well. So it's almost like this cyclical thing that seems to be happening once every few months. And yeah, I think like the only way to really talk about it is like this shit sucks, man. Like a couple of months from now, like, you're going to be entering the holiday season and people are going to be looking for a Switch 2 for their kids, and it's going to be $680 Canadian plus tax plus a game, and all of that is likely going to put you in the $850 to $900 price range for just one game and a Switch 2, right? And that's not to say that it's not worth it or this or that. Like, look, we've had conversations around a lot of cool games already, right? Like, we've talked about Pokopia, we've talked about Donkey Kong. There's been a few, I would say, a couple of games a tier below those as well that have come out that are still fun. But, like, even, like, the re-releases, like, there is things to play on the Switch, too. It's just tough to say that there's value there when it costs you like literally 1,000 plus to play multiple of these games. So yeah, it sucks, man. At least, hey, Matt, you got your Switch too.
I got it on discount too, which is thanks Staples.
There you go. Thank you to Staples.
You think you're? I'm guessing you're not going to be going in pre-price increase.
No, and to be quite honest with you, like I've been having this thought quite a bit recently that like the PS5 that I bought a couple of years back might realistically end up being the last console that I ever buy within sort of like the console life cycle. Maybe like, you know, if a PS6 is ever sort of like secondhand on sale after like, you know, 6 years of release or something, I might buy it. But like, I've genuinely been thinking about just sort of like, I don't know when next I'm going to be getting into the market for a brand new console. Which is wild to say while I'm on a, you know, podcast about video games and other things, but
you know, you can video games on PC.
Yeah, but even the PC, right? Like I'm still running like a dual 1080 on it, and the 1080 is now a decade old. It still runs great and it's very serviceable, but like I am not playing new games on the PC. The Switch, I just mentioned, like the battery's dying, and I'm probably gonna just replace the battery because like I'm gonna stick around to that, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I think I'm just gonna make what I have work for as long as it can work, because shit's too damn expensive now, man. And like I'd much rather save like all these hundreds of dollars for things like, hey, I'm going to Japan. I'd rather put like whatever the $900 I might have put towards the Switch towards the trip to Japan.
Bringing home Japanese curry.
Yeah, basically, and Japanese vitals. Like I think it's not that I've grown out of the hobby. It is just that I've been priced out of the hobby. And again, that's not a new thought. It's something we've said quite a bit already, but
I mean, that's the millennial life cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just getting priced out of everything.
Yeah. You know, it sucks, man. It's getting priced out of buying our own homes, getting priced out of buying our own consoles. Like I just want the early 2010s back when you could just buy a OnePlus. I just really want those things back. And a house. Yeah. With our current income.
Not with
our 2010s income. That would have been a problem. Because I had no income. So yeah. I don't know how to segue from this, Matt. I really don't, right? Maybe considering like, you know, we're talking about our own mortality here. I want to talk about something else that was mortal.
Okay, what is that?
Matt, I went and watched Mortal Kombat 2 this weekend in theaters.
Oh. Honestly, I thought it was releasing next weekend, but
yeah. I was a little bit caught off guard as well, but then I was like, no. I want to go watch this as soon as I can.
It's weird that it released on Mother's Day weekend. Also, happy Mother's Day to the mother.
Happy Mother's Day to the mothers, yes. It is a little bit weird, yeah. Like, I don't know what else it could have. Could it have been pushed by a week? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like we need Mark on the show to kind of explain the rationale and the thought process behind release dates a little bit. But yeah, it is an interesting observation that this is coming out during Mother's Day weekend. Mortal Kombat.
Mommy Combat's the porn name for Mortal Kombat, actually, no. I think.
Let's talk about the actual movie here. I enjoyed it, man. I know you're planning on watching it, so I'm going to keep this a little bit broad, because this might be a topic that comes up again next week, right? Like once we have a few more folks on the episode. Sorry,
Rakush. I need to stop you right there. Sorry. The correct porn title for Mortal Kombat is Mortal Comeback. I'm sorry. I missed that at the start. Please go back to what you were saying about a real serious topic in Mortal Kombat 2.
I don't even think it was a real serious topic. I just think I was caught off guard with that one. Okay. Well, if you need any more porn names, I guess reach out to Matt. He is more than happy to share those with you. No, it's a fun movie, man. I think that the one thing I will say this week, and then maybe we'll move on from this very quickly, is that this is absolutely a movie that is made for the modern Mortal Kombat fan. Okay. And that is to say that you need at least some passing knowledge of what has happened since Mortal Kombat 9. Even a little bit of the presentation stuff, I think. You just need to know a little bit of that, because...
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I'll speak more on this again next week. But yeah, it is a fun watch. I don't think it's necessarily anything that is going to blow anyone's minds. I think it does just enough to sort of like, come across as a movie, but also come across as like a self-aware piece of schlock. Of course, like, you know, a movie like this, you don't judge it for like what it did wrong unless like it just completely ignored the source material or ignored the spirit of what the the content is, the franchise is. But it doesn't. It absolutely understands like, you know, what Mortal Kombat is, its place in history sort of stuff. So yeah, look, fun movie. I hope there's another one.
Rakush?
Yeah.
Can I request a spoiler from you about this movie? Okay. What did they... Like, is Cole in this movie?
He is.
Okay. Is he in it a lot?
Or
he's just like, he's around.
He's around.
Okay.
The G.I. Joe comparison that I made a couple of weeks back, I think absolutely nailed it. Okay. I think that's how I'm going to pose that statement.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like, look, again, fun movie. There is nothing extraordinary about it. It's not a movie that's going to make you go, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. There's nothing about it that's going to make you go like, oh, it's so bad, it's good. I think it's just fun. And it is perfectly
that's about
for just fun to exist. Yeah, it wasn't anything I wasn't already expecting. I think like that's a good way of putting it. And I think like, yeah, like I'll save the rest for next week. I think because it's better to talk about this movie with. I'm hoping you go and watch it, Matt. Like I think it'll be a lot more of a fun conversation because the things that I want to mention, I think, are better to experience by yourself first.
Okay.
And then to kind of see, like, you know, what your reaction was to that instead of me sort of like impacting your impression of the movie beyond just saying it's fun. So yeah.
Rakush, I'm really looking forward to being able to title the next episode Mixtape Combat 2.
Amazing. Can't wait for it. I was surprised this movie was rated 14.8, by the way. This is not a 14.8 movie. This should have been like a little bit higher, I think. It was just really funny because there were some kids in the crowd, and one of the kids absolutely made a comment about one of the, and this is not really a spoiler, but one of the fatalities that happens in the movies.
Okay.
And I was just kind of chuckling in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's a real kid reaction to what they just saw right now.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, theater wasn't really all that packed when I went. To be fair, I went like early afternoon, so maybe it's because of that. We'll see what the numbers come back as from a box office standpoint as well. But yeah, I think overall, just keep your expectations at 0. Just have fun with it, and I think you'll enjoy the 2 hours.
Okay.
Matt, the last thing I wanted to talk about this week, it's been a little bit of a themeless episode. Like, we're just kind of shooting the shit for like an hour this week. You know, just kind of biding time until everybody else is done with their Mother's Day obligations, I guess. But yeah, it's no, there's like an interesting little thing that came up this week around the group BTS. Not that I need to explain it to most people, but they were at a random wrestling show in Arena, Mexico.
Okay.
And it was like a really interesting sort of like worlds colliding moment where it turns out that like a couple of these BTS folks are like big wrestling fans. And then like one of them, apparently they're all wearing like lucha masks in the front row, I guess, to like, you know, maintain some semblance of like anonymity, I guess. But like, I think they ultimately did end up posting that they were in the front row, and that's how people found out. But then like they were performing in Mexico City, I guess, or somewhere in Mexico, sorry. And one of them was wearing a jacket for a famous like Mexican wrestler named Mystico.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really have anywhere to go with this one. I just kind of wanted to bring that up because it was like a worlds colliding thing of like, you know, just hey, look at this shit, right? Like, I am BTS. I am exactly like BTS. I might be a little bit prettier than the people in BTS.
Oh man, please, we don't need the hate on our podcast.
So there is a friend of mine where like I know that she's a big BTS fan, and I was thinking, should I make this joke to her? Because I don't know if it's going to upset her. And then I ended up not sending that joke to her.
That's maybe good. That's maybe good.
I think just playing it safe. And I should mention, just speaking of playing it safe, I am of course joking about these things. I don't want the BTS army against me. I have a ton of respect for you guys. Thank you for your service. All those things. Matt, what's like the most random crossover you've seen of things in your life?
Oh, I don't know what the most random crossover would be. I mean, oh man, now that I put it like on the spot like this, I can't even think of any like normal crossovers.
It's like, I feel like in gaming terms, right? Like, or like in pop culture terms, like Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers for me was like a real random one.
That was a wild one. Okay, you know what? I think everything for me is now very tempered by the fact that Fortnite exists.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair, actually. Because, like, Goku holding a gun, right? Like, once you get that visual, where you go, like, nothing catches you off guard after that. So, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, a little bit of a loosey-goosey week that we've had this week, Matt. Just kind of going through a few different things that we've gone through. In anime terms, this would be a filler episode. But, you know what isn't a filler episode arc, Matt? The fact that it's Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
And that's my segue into this week's Don't Match Me, which is actually on me this week. I had to write one up. Easy peasy one to write, because, hey, Mother's Day. We got the theme right there. For those who don't know what Don't Match Me is a game that we play at the end of each episode where someone on the episode is responsible for coming up with 5 questions. And the others have to answer those questions and try not to have the same answer as the host of that week. Hard mode is trying not to match the other contestants as well. Another week that we have just a 2-man crew here. So this week it's a little bit of an easy mode one in that we only don't have to match each other, Matt. So I mentioned it is the Mother's Day episode. And, I think what better way to start this than just by saying Happy Mother's Day to all of everybody, humans, but also to all the video game characters. And Matt, let's start off by naming a famous video game mom.
Ooh, okay.
There's quite a few. And if you're a good son, you wouldn't have to look this up. But we know you're a piece of shit, so if you do want to pause this while you're listening, because it is a recording, that is A-okay. You need more time, Matt? You bad son?
I'm good.
Okay, alright, cool. In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wait, I lied. Okay, Rakush, I'm gonna say that I got out because I thought, oh my god, I got it reversed because I thought of fucking Clementine from Walking Dead.
You're an idiot. God, this fucking guy. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
How did you think of her when I asked this question?
Well, I'm like, I think I thought of daughter instead of mom.
Oh, good God.
I got caught up. All
right. Horrible son.
Okay.
Horrible father.
Are
you ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I'm not doing the countdown again. I'm just going into it.
Okay.
I'm going with Genova from Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
Why?
Yeah, that checks.
She's kind of a mom.
I'm just gonna go with Anna from Overwatch.
Is she a mom?
Who, you can play alongside her daughter.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I guess I'm not all in the loop with Overwatch as well, but yeah. Matt, another video game mom is Bayonetta.
She's a mom?
She is a mom. Yes.
Oh, I do not know my Bayonetta lore.
There's a reason. No, I'm not going to say this. No, that's I'm going to no.
No. Say it, Rakush. Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to say this. No. I respect myself too much to paint myself as.
Oh, look at this guy who has self-respect now. Where's 2010s Rakush when I need him?
Well, into 2010s. If you want to go back in time, go play Strangers in Heaven. Um, I sent you a link right now, Matt, on Discord, because in Bayonetta 3, there is a big part of this game where there are variants of certain characters. And I actually just want you to name one of the Bayonetta variants that you will find on the Bayonetta wiki. And not just name the variant, but also sort of like their nickname or subtitle, if you will. If you are following along and going on the Bayonetta fandom wiki, it is typically under the photo. There is just a little caption there. That's where it is written there.
Okay.
So in 3, 2, 1, I'm actually going to go with the Bayonetta B2 variant, which is the One-Eyed Witch. Because she's also holding this giant-ass weapon that looks an awful lot like Monster Hunter stuff.
Oh, the One Hunt Hammer, sort of.
Yeah. Which one do you go with?
I went with Bayonetta Beta 4. I think that's a beta symbol.
Yeah.
For the Phantom Thief Witch.
Oh, the one with the top hat.
The one with the top hat.
She's got a real milady vibe going for her.
Well, you gotta be the gentlewomanly thief.
Yes, of course.
Gentlewoman? Yeah. Is that a word?
Or it is now.
Okay.
Fair lady?
Fair lady does not give the same impression as, like, gentleman, I think. But
Fair
that
enough.
might just be because I think a lot of terminology at the time was very sexist.
Yes, yeah. I do wonder, when they wrote gentleman, was the idea that the other person, the opposite of that, is not gentle? Because the etymology of that now is,
if I remember right, etymology-wise, like, that gentle had a different meaning of what we consider gentle now. But I can't totally remember.
It's like how, like, back in the day, the term dandy used to be used a lot more, and now I feel like you cannot really use that term because there's a certain vitriol and problematicness associated with it.
I never see the word dandy outside of, like, Japanese fiction now.
Yeah, and especially Japanese fiction that's, like, is super enamored with, like, European culture and white folks. But moving on to the next question, Matt. We talked about Bayonetta here. There's other games as well, that have mother figures, let's say, including Super Metroid, which has the mother brain. Matt, I just want you to name any upgrade that can be found in the Super Metroid game. And this can include, like, upgrades or even suit upgrades as well. It's just basically any unlockable power-up.
I know which upgrade I want. I just want to get the correct name for it.
Sure. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm actually going to go with one of the most iconic ones, which is the Morph Ball.
Oh yes, that is a very iconic.
Super iconic, yeah.
I am going with the one where I just really like the animation for it. I'm going with the Speed Booster.
Speed Booster is really good, man. I do like that animation. The one thing about that, and so I love watching speedruns for Super Metroid. Seeing how people use the speed boosters and how, like, frame accurate you have to be to get, like, certain things, and even in, like, non-speed runs, you sometimes have to be, like, real frame accurate to, like, pick up, like, a hidden bomb somewhere or missile somewhere as well. Man, games used to be something back in the day.
Yeah, games are wild. Video games are wild.
Yeah. Super Metroid, though, one of my favorite games of all time. Really fun to go play.
I've never finished Super Metroid. I feel like I should.
How far have you gotten with it?
Not far. I don't really get far in Metroid games, to be honest.
So, one option that actually might be of interest to you, it's a little bit of a babby version, but, like, you can play the one that's on Switch Online because that has a rewind function. So if you fuck up, you can just rewind instead of, like, restarting it. Because I know, like, backtracking in those games can tend to be, like, one of the reasons, like, I would have dropped the game.
I see.
Yeah. I think that's, like, a really cool way of playing it as well, so I would check it out.
Maybe.
And it is free. If it's part of Switch Online. So it's not...
So it's not free.
You know what I mean. Yeah.
But it could be free.
It could be free, yeah. Matt, question 4. One of the most infamous Nintendo franchises that just simply gets no love, we've talked about it in Smash or Pratt recently, is Earthbound, or as it's known in Japan, the Mother series. I just want you to name one character from the Earthbound series. The hard mode for this, by the way, is picking one of the 4 main characters. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to answer this question the same way I started this episode by going with Pooh.
Ooh. Rakush, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you start the episode like that so you could bookend it like this?
No, because I didn't actually realize Pooh was one of the main characters in Earthbound.
Okay.
I appreciate you thinking that I have earned this much credit, but
okay.
I'm not quite there just yet.
Okay. Rakush, I just went with Ness because that's really the only character I can name from Earthbound.
Yeah. There's Lucas as well, but yeah.
Oh, right. Lucas exists. Oh.
Man, I'm still writing up the rules for Smash or Prat 2.
Uh-huh.
I need to. I don't know. We need to make it more challenging.
Rakush,
we need more Chris Pratts.
I'm gonna tell you what my suggestion for Smash or Prat 2 is that we don't separately say who we're picking. We type it up in Discord and then we say it. We just press enter at the same time.
I do like it. There's just Matt, the audience was listening to us and they were upset, They were like, hey man, what the fuck? We came here for Chris Pratt. There's not enough Chris Pratt. So we got to give the audience what they want, More Chris Pratt. That's what the audience wants.
Yes.
Last question, Matt.
More Chris Pratt.
Last question. Chris Pratt is mom, by the way. It's almost time to end this episode. One more question left. There is, of course, a very popular series from, I would say, the mid-2000s into the early 2010s. It's the Cooking Mama franchise.
Yes.
Matt, I just want you to pick one of the Cooking Mama games. And this can include any of the spin-offs as well.
Okay, yes. Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay. We're going to pick the same one, but let's go.
Are we?
I think we are.
Maybe. All right, let's see. In 3, 2, 1. I'm going with Gardening Mama.
Oh, Rakush. We didn't pick the same one.
Which one did you pick?
Well, no, Rakush. You don't shake the baby. Because I went with Babysitting Mama.
That was my second option.
That
was my second option. Oh, gosh. Hey, we didn't match this week,
I mean, I got the first question very wrong, but we didn't match this week.
Hey, name a video game bomb. Here's the most iconic daughter in video games. This fucking guy.
Look, Rakush, daughters can become moms, and
if they want to, it's their choice. It's not our choice. We're a progressive show here at the Mistake Zone. The only mistakes we make are in, getting daughters and moms wrong.
Well, it's actually, I don't want to go into that joke. That's very even for me. That's a rough one.
Matt, it's time to take it away.
Okay. Well, this has been the Mistake Zone, and
wait. I didn't thank you to be here. No, hold on. I gotta thank people, like Jaren does. Matt, thank you for being here today.
Yo, thanks, man. Maybe not as always, but as usual when it comes to our duo episodes, I want to thank you, Rakush, for hosting this episode and bragging about your fantasy critic picks enough that we could form a whole episode out of it.
Wait, why did you say not as always? There, are you not thanking me always?
No, I mean usually when I say it, I say thanks to Jaren. So I mean, when not as because yeah, thanks, Rakush.
Take it away.
Okay. This has been the Mistake Zone, and we're all out of battery life for our Switch ones.
God damn.